Hi, welcome back. And today I'm going to show you how to roll a ball through a glass tube. I've tried several ways to do that with controlling the movement by keyframes and by rotation angles and so on, but nothing was really satisfying. So today we are using physics. Let's get started and see how to do that. So we are deleting our default cube and adding in a spiral. So make sure to have the add curve extra objects add-on activated in the preferences. And then we are adding a Archimedean spiral and modifying this spiral by diameter modifying, and we go from 0 to 1, and we are going from 0 to 1 also in height, and we make 3 turns. So that basically is our spiral. And then we are going to Bezier and turning it upside down so it's in the right direction for our purposes. And then we see we have a really bad resolution here. So we are going to add or modify the handles as automatic, and see now everything is smooth and clean. And so now we can use this spiral and want to give it a hull or a profile. And to do that, to make it a tube, and to do that, we are adding another Bezier object, and that is a circle, Bezier circle. And we are just using it at a profile, so we can put this aside and use it as a bevel modifier to our curve in the geometry section of this curve, of the spiral bevel, and we use the object, and now instantly we have a tube defined by this circle and this curve. So now we can use this to form our glass tube. It's still a curve, so we can also use all curve handles to modify it. So if we want to extrude this end to the y-axis, we can take this handle and snap it by pressing S and the axis name to the right axis, and then we press, if we have done it, if we have done this, we can take this handle and press E and Y to extrude it along the y-axis. And we can do the very same with the upper end. That is a little bit more fiddly, and we have to remove some of these handles and to do some modifications. And so I have speeded up the whole process, so you can see there are some things to do and some modifications to make, and you just have to experiment a little bit around with this and see that everything is smooth and clean. And if we are done with that, we have a spiral tube with 2 ends, and the one to the top and the other to the y-axis. And now we have to make out of this a mesh, because we want to modify this as a mesh, and we want to apply physics. That is only possible when the object is a mesh. So we convert this to a mesh, and then we can construct a kind of funnel at the upper end where the ball goes in, if we want to put the ball there in. So we are selecting this loop and extruding it to the z-axis, and then let's keep that selected, or select it again, and then add some loop cuts and take the upper loop, or select the upper loop, and then with proportional editing and sharp scaling, scale this up to some kind of funnel-like structure. like this. Now we have a funnel here. And to make this a real tube, we have to solidify the whole object. So we add in a solidify modifier to the outer side, so factor 1. And then we see, okay, that's now a solid tube with a solid funnel. And now we have to give it a material because we want to be it of glass. So we add a material and make it white. And we make it almost no rough. And then transparent. And then we see these black rims. And we have to get rid of these black rims. For that we have to apply first our bevel modifier to get all the meshes here, and then we can go to edit mode and select the most outside loop and set a loop cut and move then this additional loop to the rim. And we are doing the same for the inner loop. Also again loop cut and move it to the rim. And then we are doing the same also for the funnel. Also selecting, yeah, it's really necessary. We have this black rim there, so we are selecting this one, loop, move it up, and then we are selecting the inner loop and loop cut and move it up. And if we go to cycles, then we see, okay, these black rims have vanished or have gotten very, very small. So we can use that as the object we can work with further. Okay, so now we have this time to make our ball, to put it into the tube. So we are adding a UV sphere and scale it down to 0.25 radius. That is exactly the radius of the tube, so maybe that will not work, but for now it's okay. To positioning the ball in the right place here. And now we have to apply the physics. So our ball is an active object, 5 kilograms, and the tube is a passive object and is defined by its mesh. So physics is defined then. Yeah, we're scaling it down a little bit. And maybe taking it down a little bit also. Yeah, and putting it into the simulation. That is an accelerated playback. So we see the playback ends at 250 frames. So our simulation takes a little bit more, let's say 600, until the ball arrives at the end. But we have also to modify the physics settings to 600, the cache. So if we do that now, we see, okay, also for the next part, everything is working now. So the physics simulation is working and is ready, rendered. So we can add a plane where the ball can fall on, that it's not vanishing. Also a passive object now, that it's that the ball is not vanishing if it goes out of the tube. So it rolls on the plane first, and now we can bake our physics, and so we can now move back and forth in this animation without having to re-render the physics. So now we can render some preview of how this is working. For that we have to give our ball a shading. So let's give it some new material and let's give it some wave shading that we can see how it's moving, like this. And now we can see when we switch cycles on that this ball is really moving following the physical laws around or inside of this glass tube. Okay, and when we give this a render in the end, then the result is the following. And we see it's working and it seems to roll down following the physical laws. In the upper part, it's somewhat swirling, but that comes from the physics settings. So you can play around with friction and these parameters and see if you get other results that you might like better. In the end, adding some background and color and so on, we have this result of a rolling ball inside a tube. So I hope you liked this video. If you like it, then please like it, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.